An uncommon midday email from the National Endowment for the Humanities sent to Humanities Guåhan's executive director CJ Ochoco brought surprising news.
We received news just a few days ago on April 2nd that all of the grants we received from the National Endowment for the Humanities, or the NEH, were canceled effective April 1st. And that is all of the funding that we receive as a council that keeps us operating and allows us to do all of our programming. We found out about the cancellation through a letter that was emailed directly through to me as an executive director, and it was the middle of the day on Guam, but it was actually about midnight in DC when we got it, which was very odd, considering that we know that the NEH operates on Eastern time. We knew it was legitimate because the other councils were also emailing at the same time saying, hey, I just got this letter, and then the next council, I just got it. And so they actually emailed us one by one in the middle of their night, the middle of our day, to inform us. And for HG, we actually have 4 open grants, and total we probably haven't been able to draw down about 500,000 of those grant monies because of the way the reimbursement process goes. You don't get your grants up front, so the cancellation of these grants represent up to $500,000 of loss in direct project support as well as general operating support for us. As a nonprofit humanities council, we are actually funded almost completely by the National Endowment for the Humanities, which is a federal agency that was created to promote the humanities in all states and territories. So there is actually 56 councils across every state and territory, and we represent the Guam Council.
Humanities Guåhan has been able to support important initiatives like literacy programs for families and the preservation of the CHamoru language.
As a Humanities Council, our charge is twofold. One, a big part of who we are is a grant-making agency for Guam. So every council has to, as a part of our work under the NEH, give grants to the community. And the reason that is the case is because the NEH knows that the folks who know what is going on in the community are the people in the community. And so every year we give out thousands of dollars in grant funding to other nonprofits, government agencies, and groups that do humanities-based work. And so humanities is such a broad term too, but that's things like culture, it's literature, it's history, it's the things that connect us and tell our stories. So that's one aspect of the work we do, and where that funding goes to is supporting granting. And the other part of what we do is our own programming. And so we're so grateful that there's such a rich tapestry of organizations that do work here, and so we also want to do work that complements what they do. So some of our long-standing programs is the Mother Read, Father Read program, which is actually a literacy program that is meant to bring together families, parents, or guardians, and young kids to promote literacy across all ages. And we know, across the United States and Guam, literacy is a big issue here, and so to be able to have these programs go to schools and different places for free has been a big tenet of Humanities Guåhan, and we're only able to do these things because of the funding. We even bring these programs such as Mother Read into DOC. We've had a very long-standing partnership with their programming there, with the Alley Shelter and other great organizations. They do so much great work, and we want to be able to offer our own programs to them. Some of our other programs include community conversations. This is another one of the tenets of HG, is to gather community members of different groups, different backgrounds, to engage in civic conversations, to talk about the issues that matter to us. And so whenever there's a relevant issue that comes up, we gather people in conversation, or even just to talk about things that are important to us. Most recently, just a couple months ago, we were at the University of Guam hosting free conversations for students to talk about poetry and how that connects to culture and navigation, and these beautiful opportunities to connect people. And even the students themselves were just like talking about how they don't even get a chance to do these kinds of things in classes because it gave them the opportunity to connect with students across all majors and backgrounds in a way that oftentimes they don't get to do because they're usually just like with their programs. So those are just a couple of the long-standing programs. That doesn't even cover so many of the great things this council has done. We've done projects documenting the history of like Camp Rojas, and we have a Guam Women Warriors project that highlights the wonderful women who serve in our military, and we've done projects about veterans and preserving their stories, because preserving stories and promoting storytelling is a big thing of what we do.
The nonprofit organization's work stretches beyond the Marianas and has benefited communities in the wider Micronesian region and the Pacific as well.
As again, we're the Guam Humanities Council, but we believe that all of our stories and our culture and our identities are so intertwined together, of those, of course, the indigenous Chamorro people, but then all the people who live on Guåhan. And, we have really great staff who are invested in making sure we continue to connect to those, like you said, in the broader Micronesian region. And so we have done work with these communities here. We've actually done work in those places as well. Recently, we supported a summer camp in Chuuk using Mother Read techniques from one of our long-term staff members, Nadine, who brought those techniques to help develop literacy there, and also to develop our own kind of version of Mother Read called Storytelling Micronesia, which is a way we are trying to promote these literacy programs of making it culturally relevant. We also do things such as bringing in groups like Tira Productions, who's actually coming here later this month to present their production of Nothing Micro About Micronesia, which is a theatrical production. But as a Humanities Council, we understand that these stories that they tell about the Micronesian experience, really is relevant to the communities here. And even beyond that, part of one of the grants that was canceled, unfortunately, is our Pacific Islands Cultural Initiative grant that allowed us to connect further with the councils in Hawaii, in the NMI, and in American Samoa, what were the 4 Pacific councils. And that was an initiative that was meant to bring us together, to create work together, to strategize in programming and like community building across Pacifica. So a lot of the grant applications that come through have to do with preservation and history and culture. And so by supporting the work of people like the Commission and other great organizations doing that work monetarily, we've been able to help support that. We've given out thousands of dollars in grants over the 33 years we've been around, and you'll see our logo in books and different things like that, and just really providing what we can to support those who are doing the preservation work. I think that's a really important thing people don't know about the council, is that, we're not just here to do our own programming, but we're here to partner and uplift everyone else doing the work.
With the future of the organization threatened, Humanities Guåhan has called on the community it served for over 3 decades to now help support its mission as they navigate what's expected to be uncertain territory in the days and months ahead.
Well, we're always hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. So we're hoping, this is all such new territory for everybody, for the councils, for the NEH. We do know that it is official that about 80% of the NEH staff has been put on admin leave. So it's actually been a bit difficult since all this happened a couple days ago to even hear from them because many of the folks we've been working with are no longer there. So while we wait to see what may happen on the NEH side, we are enacting plans with the idea in mind that we might not get this funding anytime soon or at all. And so what that means is we are doing everything to immediately cut our costs to try to make sure that these staff, we do employ 6 people at the council to ensure that the staff is taken care of, that they can have as much longevity, with us as possible, because that is our priority. One of my board chair Alfred always like to say, like, we are the Humanities Council, and so we want to put the humane in the work that we do. And so we're really our priority, of course, is completing some of our program and grant obligations that are already in process. So the Tieta show will happen later this month, but it may be our last big programming for a while. And then, yeah, basically kind of focusing on the financial health of the council to see how far we can keep going in hopes that things will change later. We are trying to engage the community to help us, our fellow councils and the folks who are helping us through this, emphasize that the biggest way right now we can engage is to ask the community to raise their voices. With so much news going on locally and, of course, stateside and nationally, it's hard to know what's happening, and so we are really grateful that we were able to get something out pretty quickly, and that the community helped share, and from press to just Instagram shares of what is going on, because in order to hope for any change, we need to know what's happening. So that's the first call we did to the community, and then, of course, asking the community to help us talk to our officials and our legislature to garner support. We're in talks with them as well, and we're very grateful. Senator Shelley Calvo released a statement, because since she's the oversight chair on arts and culture, and we are working on setting up meetings. And then lastly, of course, as a nonprofit, we need support with donations. We have been very fortunate to have this support from the federal government, and now that may no longer be a possibility, any support we can get from the community just to keep our lights on while we try to figure out what's next would be greatly appreciated. And thank you so much for all the support the community has given to us these past 33 years, and even just in these past 3 days, to see so many people near and far raise their voices to protect the humanities and, of course, the arts and the culture, everything that makes us who we are as people and as humans. And as we continue to navigate this together, we continue to appreciate any of the support you can give, whether it's a share, it's a call to your legislature, or it's a donate. We know everyone is going through a lot right now, and we just want to continue to partner with you all to provide this relevant and important programming to our community.
For the Marianas Press, I'm Jasmine Stoll-Weiss.